Hello.
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 Hi, how are you?
I am good. I think it's been a year since I came on the meeting.
How is everything?
Good, all good, all good. Yeah, just been busy with Postman's changing priorities. So
Yeah, I hear there's a lot of changes there.
yeah.
How is it? What are you now responsible for?
No, now I work with post sales. So I work closely to like support the customers with like POCs or best practices and all, but mostly focus on the product. So less GraphQL.
Okay, yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
It's good that you're here.
Yes. As soon as I knew Doc was joining, I had to come.
I'm still trying to get used to looking at Uri with short hair. It's so dramatically different.
Hey everybody, it's good to be here.
Hey, so
Oh,
what's up?
welcome.
Thank you.
So-
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, glad you're here.
who wants to lead the call? I mean, I think
You can. Go ahead, Yuri. You're the man.
yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Should we start? Did everyone is here? Okay, so if I'm forgetting something, let me know. Stop me and add the things that I'm forgetting. By participating and joining, you all agreed to the membership agreement of the GraphQL Foundation, the participation guidelines, the contribution guide, and the code of conduct. And yeah, let's do a round of introductions really quick, based on the agenda, on the attendees on the agenda. Just quickly do a round. So Sahaj, you're first.
Hi,
Oh,
I'm
how
Sahaj.
about you, Yuri?
Sorry.
Who are you? Who are you?
I'm the last one on the attendees on the agenda, so I'll get to myself.
Okay.
Later. Sahaj, go ahead.
Hello, I'm Sahaj. I work at the guild.
Hello everyone, I'm Martin, I work at Apollo.
Hey everybody, I'm Dan, I work at
Dan.
ArtConnect.
Doc, I think you're next.
Oh, am I next? Sorry. Yeah, hi, I'm Doc, and I have I'm here for myself.
Mina,
I've
you're
been
next.
around for a while, so
Yeah, hi, I'm Meena. I work with Postman, and I'm also here. And I work with Doc quite a bit, and I was very active a year ago. Not very, but somewhat active a year ago. But yeah, it's good to be back. So
who's next?
Hey all, I'm An, and I work at Bol, and yeah, I'm also part of the GraphQL committee, the conference. So that's why also I'm joining, and because I would love to build a great community. Yeah, that's me. So.
Welcome. It's a great group.
All right, I'm next. I'm Eric. I work on GraphQL and Python on Strawberry and Graphene, and I'm also here for the second time. So great to see you all again.
Hi,
Hey,
Eric.
folks.
Welcome.
I'm Benji from Grapho.
Hi,
Hey folks,
Benji.
I'm Jeff from Apollo.
Hello, Jeff.
And I'm Uri from the guild. Yeah, and we're growing, so that's a good. That's great, and also it feels like all or most of the agenda items have already been discussed online, which is great. Like, so that's how, you know, we want it to be. So like the communication and the conversation won't be just here. And it seems like it's working. So that's nice. Anyone wants to volunteer for note taking? I think we can also, did we do like an AI thing last time or not? I don't remember.
No, Benji, I think, was taking notes last time. Weren't you, Benji?
Yeah, that was me. I am in the process of trying to get us having the authorization to use AI note-taking in the working group meetings, but we haven't reached that point yet.
Bravo.
Okay.
That's a great idea.
Okay. So yes, thanks. So does that mean, Benji, that you volunteer again? Or okay, thank you. Yeah, so let's review the agenda really quickly. We can check the review for ready for review agenda items. We didn't use that yet, so that's on me. I'll start actually using that for the next meeting, the ready for review label, which makes a lot of sense. But I think that all the subjects that we have today are ready for discussion. Is there any other subjects that you want to discuss or you want to add that you think is missing here?
So, Yuri, I did a little, I went through all of the issues and tried to collect them into groupings. Obviously not like, this is not, you know, it's just my like impression of like everybody, trying to account for everybody's points and suggestions. Obviously, you know, I mean, if people need to add things, but if we could take a look at that. Let me grab a link real quick.
Whilst you do that, I have a small note on when you're creating agenda items. The person who introduces the topic should be the person in brackets. So putting all there isn't always ideal because we can't have everyone introduce it. Just put your own name when you add an item.
Yeah.
So yeah, just drop the link. And of course, you know, it's completely open for discussion on like anything that's missing or maybe a different grouping. I was just trying to account for all of the issues without having to go through them individually, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's perfect. So let me go through it. Yes. Currently the agenda, I think, is based on, first of all, so there's actually the first one is like maybe a short. Does anyone have would mind if we will move item number 6, make the Discord channel public? We'll move it for let's say number 10 or 11. Would that be okay with everyone? Okay, thanks.
I don't know what you're looking at. I don't know what you're looking at.
About the agenda for this meeting. Martin posted on the, yeah, and Benji posted it here again on the.
Okay, thank you.
So the first items are more around like, what do we want to get from this group and then how we will work. I hope we can get through them pretty quickly and then get to the actual stuff. And I think we'll have a bunch of time to talk about everything. And that's also, then we can, through that, review the issue that you posted, Doc. I didn't had a chance to read all of it, so I'm skimming through it right now, but because I didn't have a chance, I suggest that we'll go with the current agenda and then also try to fit this issue into that. Does that make sense, Doc?
Yeah, that's fine. I should have added this little summary that I've got on the agenda, and I didn't. Somehow I missed that list.
Okay.
Otherwise I would have added it.
No problem, no problem. We'll all get better at whatever we're doing here. This is just the second meeting, and yeah. So cool. So first item is posted by me, is align on the main goals of the working group. I've posted this message. Let me find it. Yeah, it's without the links. Let me. Where did I think it was. Where did I post it? It was in my old PR, sorry. Just a second. Okay. Yes, I found it. Okay, I posted yesterday the following message. I'm posting it here on the Slack channel. I'll try to like go through it really quickly. I think first we should align on the main objectives that we want to get here. All of us, I think, are here for a reason. We discussed it on the last meeting, and it will be cool to just like have a clear list, or at least, let's say, the main objectives that we have for the next couple of months. Like we can always change them and as we go. But the current list that I suggested, based on the discussions last month and based on the discussions online, was those 3 items. Like first, number 1 is like broaden GraphQL's appeal and adoption. I think it's something that most of us here were talking about, that it feels like growth is not as much as we want it to be, and people are not fully aware of like how GraphQL can be beneficial for them, like more people could be aware of it. The second thing is unblock and empower community initiatives. So basically people that actually do stuff won't feel like, would feel like there's support for it, and also there's nothing that blocks them, like basically making sure that they're not being blocked by anything. And then the third one is foster a transparent community. A lot of the messages were around like trying to understand like what is happening and how is it happening, and just to make sure that everything that can be transparent is transparent and visible. So maybe let's just discuss that for a bit. And does anyone agree that this list of priorities is a good list to start for us to work with?
Yeah, I think this is where I would bring up the synopsis that I did of all the issues, the link that I posted, Uri, where I was trying to like group those together, but also account for everybody's input. So we had do you see the link I'm talking about?
Number 50, issue number 50?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
So some people had talked about doing the ambassador program. There was a discussion about how we like announce or invite people. There was a discussion of doing a survey. And then so I was just trying to like group these. And so from growing the community to communication, the discussions that we had around that, like whether we do a pilot maybe with Slack or something, and then supporting other groups or activities, whether that, I mean, there was some, I think the main discussion around that was just how we support GraphQL Conf 2025. But there's also some discussion about building local meetups. I can't remember who mentioned that, but it was in the issues.
Yes. So what from all of these objectives that you said are not fitting under the 3 items that I posted.
So they're not accounted for in this. So all of the things that people had suggested are not accounted for.
Right. The goal was not to account for everything. The goal was to have basically a framework or 3 objectives that everything could be accounted for underneath them, unless it's not, and then we can see if it doesn't fit. So, like, for example, you know, you said that, like you said,
This is not me. This is other people's. This is throughout the. This is me collecting everyone's input
right.
throughout.
So, for example, meetups.
No, not that one.
And
Yeah.
then meetups could fit for. I'll give an example. So meetups could fit under both. Like there's a couple of reasons for meetups, but like meetups could fit under basically broadening the community, like basically getting into more people, talking with more people, and broadening the community and adoption, and unblocking and empowering community initiatives, meaning like people that want to do meetups, making sure that we support them and they're not unblocked because they don't have access to, I don't know, meetup.com or whatever resources or
Yeah, I wasn't trying to get down to that level of detail, but I did group it under Grow Community. So yeah, I think we're saying the same thing.
Okay, good. So so I'll ask again, like I'm just taking it step by step just to confirm, because I as we were talking, I read your summary and it feels like, I don't know, I feel like all of those things could fit under the 3 items that I posted. If not, or if anyone wants to change those 3 items, or you see something that doesn't fit under those 3, yeah, like basically the principles, like, do we have more or less of agreement, or is there more like things to add on just on those 3 to start with?
I think broaden GraphQL's appeal and adoption is definitely the number 1, right? 100% agreed on that. That's very clearly one of the things that we want to do. And as the community working group, I think unblocking and empowering community initiatives is 100% definitely also a thing that we want to do. So definitely agree with those. Could you explain a little bit more what you mean by fostering a transparent community as opposed to just fostering community?
It's a good question. First of all, I think fostering community just felt for me a bit very like broad and vague. So maybe foster is not the right name, but I saw that there were a lot of, for example, questions around, you know, the whole process of GraphQL Conf or the process for grants, or, you know, so I just want to make sure that like people feel that everything is, and we got like some feedback around it also last year. So I guess I don't know how to name it. Maybe we can name it differently, but my thinking about it was just to make sure that things that could be transparent and accessible for the community would be transparent and accessible for the community.
Okay, so it's more about like documenting processes and yeah. And sharing.
Or maybe sharing stuff that, you know, weren't shared before in case if it should be shared, right? Like there was a discussion around, for example, how the committee members of the process of choosing talks, and there's a question like, can we share their names? Should we share their names or not? So that's like that's a question, but I would put that under transparency, like yeah.
Okay, perfect. I've submitted in the chat a slightly alternative wording, which is fostering transparency with the community. I think it's clearer there what we're aiming for.
That's a good one. Yeah. Let me change it.
Yeah, I would also say that this is where the survey would be really powerful, is going out to the community and asking them questions about all of these, actually.
Yes. Yes, yes.
Also, you know, growing our understanding of, you know, it's kind of like it's kind of like twofold. One is making sure that we're inviting participation from the community, and the survey would be part of that. But, you know, growing this group, growing all of the, just growing the community more broadly.
Yeah, I agree. I think survey is a great tool for all kinds of things. I think it will help us probably in like all three, right? Like a survey would help us to like understand what people think about GraphQL today and what are points, let's say, that would help our messaging around GraphQL and to broaden the appeal and adoption. It will help us to understand where people are blocked currently or need help with. And it also help us understand what is not transparent and like what needs to be blocked. Yes, Martin. Yeah.
Yes, all those three objectives looks very good to me, a very good start. I had a question whether how much we need to commit to those, like if we see something new coming up, like a new initiative, I guess we can change them, right? Or is that something that, like the GraphQL spec, we commit for the next 20 years or something like this?
Yeah, no, this is a great question. I mean, my perspective is this is like our, let's call it our modest principles for start. And then like at any point, we can change it. We can say like, I know, GraphQL is too big. It's time to put like other priorities on top of it, or, you know, whatever. But like, yes, 100% everything here, I don't see it as like, it's not a spec, right? Like this could be changed all the time. Yeah.
Thanks.
I don't know how to raise my hand, but maybe I had an addition. Just hearing basically the discussion, isn't also more like objective actually to lower the barrier to join our GraphQL community? Because if you are transparent, like in what we're doing, and also inclusive, you also get more people easier on board.
Right. So I would like, isn't that like fit under? I mean, it's a question that is maybe dumb, but why lower the barrier and why to have an inclusive community? Like,
yeah, no, maybe from a personal perspective, for me, at the beginning, it was really hard to get to understand what is the GraphQL community is about, and where can I actually find the right people, experts, or maybe questions, where should I address that?
Yes.
And I think it's also already opening this a working group, and everyone can actually join. That's already a good start. And I think there are more ways to even broaden this. So that's why I thought, yeah, hey, how can we, is there actually a barrier? For me, it felt like that.
Yes.
That's really interesting. So was the barrier for you that, so how did you find this meeting?
I think Uri contacted me. There was one. And I think also personally, I had a drive to make this community grow, but I actually didn't knew yet where to start with.
Yeah. Okay, so everybody hang on to that thought. And I hope to revisit that, Ang, when I get to my agenda item.
Yeah, but I think what Anne is saying is incredibly important, because as for many technical initiatives, it's sometimes very intimidating to even join working groups and meetings, especially if it says under every meeting agenda, just join if you have something to say. Meeting groups are strictly regulated. We have a strict time box, and many people who just want to get started and maybe aren't an expert in every subject matter may think, okay, maybe this isn't the right place for me. Let's just let the experts handle it. But that's how we actually defer people from becoming experts and from interacting with the community. And I think it's an incredibly important topic to work on, and just to make the interaction and the specification process in GraphQL more accessible to everyone and more understandable, maybe also more digestible to people who just want to check in from time to time and see what's going on.
Yeah, lowering the barrier to people, even like just not making a commitment to participate in the meeting, but even just like observe the meeting. So yes, I love what you guys are saying.
Yes, I 100% agree. I think my rationale is like that it fits under those three. Like basically,
Yes.
if we'll do it right, then it will grow the GraphQL community in general, but also it will grow the community initiatives.
Yes.
So yeah. Benji, I'm hearing what I'm reading. Yeah, defining what community is. So it's a good question. I think yeah, so I think Benji, this is a good question. I'll say my thinking about that was, and that's what also I think I splitted 1 and 2 maybe, was 1 for me is actually more around the broader community, not necessarily. Jeff, you're raising your hand. You go ahead.
No worries. Yeah, finish your thought. You're good.
Okay. I'll finish it quickly. Sorry, I didn't see you raise your hand. So for me was, let's start with a broader community, like not necessarily contributors. I think that was for me number 1. It was more around, looking at just users of GraphQL and how we can broaden the user base, the overall user base of GraphQL. And then the second point was making sure that the people who are in the contributors community get everything they need in order to contribute. That was my thoughts around it. Yeah, Jeff.
I think we have such an interesting job ahead of us here for a few reasons, because the more you look at the question of what is the GraphQL community, the less sense it makes. Because there is like kind of like the folks who show up to this the working groups and the foundation meetings and this community working group still, and you could probably count those in dozens, right? And then you have, all right, zoom as far out as you can, and you have a significant portion of the internet, of the enterprise market, of small and large implementations of GraphQL that covers a massive amount of internet traffic. So the total number of users of GraphQL, do you want to call that the community? If so, it's billions, and then you can zoom into all these different levels of like folks who know how to write a GraphQL query so that they can power a front-end application, or folks who maintain a service that speaks GraphQL or something like that. And then smaller still, folks who maintain a GraphQL tool of some sort to enable those services to be that glue. And so you can zoom in at different levels. And in some ways, you can compare it to a technology with a community like React in some way, or like Kubernetes or something like that. But in other ways, you could also compare to like HTTP, like in general, or like, something that broad. And so when we say the community, I think, yeah, sure, we want more spec writers. Yeah, sure, we want more folks who are out there talking about GraphQL in the conference circuit. We also want a bigger maintainer base of the tools that are being used in the dozens of languages that have GraphQL implementations in them. And I think all of those are goals that almost are they're huge, right? And so it depends on what we want to zoom in on. I think all of us have a different perspective coming from some subset of those different personas. And maybe as I say that word persona, maybe that's what we need to zoom in on, is like, what are the different folks that we are serving? What does their day-to-day look like? Who are they? And then from there, maybe that might give some clarity as to how this group can speak to the needs of of those folks and prioritizing what that looks like. Is it the spec? Excuse me, the spec itself? Is it the ecosystem of tools? Is it the amount of resources available for best practices for those practitioners that are out there, or something else? Yeah, but I see Eric has your hand.
Yeah, actually, you've said a lot of what I wanted to say as well. But let me just add to that, especially with those personas you mentioned. I think that's crucial in providing success to any technology you're trying to get out there. But from my experience, I also see a big disconnect between bubbles in our community and the levels you're zooming into. Best example is asking some maintainers of libraries if they've heard of new GraphQL spec features, and they haven't heard of them yet, although they're very actively discussed in this main GraphQL community. And it's so disconnected. I feel like certain parts of the community could really benefit from having a closer common mission and maybe just some common room to exchange ideas, to exchange news on GraphQL, maybe even to bring all maintainers together and use that really as a hub to gather experience, because that's a problem we've been having a lot in the past, reaching out to people, getting feedback, and maybe fostering that in the future.
Doc.
Yeah, so I think we're trying to work at different levels all at the same time, and it's a problem that I experience. So we kind of started out at like our high level objectives, and then we're yes, of course, I think like in the part of after we have consensus on our goals and objectives, then obviously personas would be part of that. Some of that discussion went on in the issues. If you looked at those about what the personas would be, I think Uri mentioned enterprise users versus developers. And there was, so I guess what I would say is that we will get there on like what the personas are. Yes, they are important. I think everybody would agree with that. But if we can get consensus at the top level, then we can bear down into the more detail and also how to execute. I would also like to say, when you look at community, what's really common is that you have the way that groups form is that you generally have about, no matter how big the group is, you have about 20% of the people who are active and 80% of the people who are lurking. They want to know what's going on. They want to be informed, but they don't necessarily want to or have the tools or the motivation or whatever it is to engage. So I think the more activities that we do to support these objectives, whether it's surveys or building local groups or whatever, all these great ideas that people are contributing are, in my personal opinion, I think that first we have to grow this group and make sure that people are aware of what we're doing and that we exist and that we're trying to engage with the community. And I'll talk more about that when I get to my agenda item. But I would like, if we come to consensus on the three objectives that Uri laid out, and I think we kind of are there, then we can move on to the next agenda item. If that makes sense.
I think what I take currently from the discussion is that there's more details to add.
Yes.
We can like go ahead with those top level items with the assumption that, like, first of all, it's changeable, so we're going to review it as we go. Second of all, there's a lot of definitions and details that we need to add. Like the biggest question, I think, is like Benji's question of like, what is a community? Like, who are we talking about? And I think it's a very important question that we need to nail down. Yeah, so maybe we can use it as like temporary objectives, maybe even until the next meeting, until someone like has a suggestion, another suggestion, and move on to the next item on the agenda. Is that okay with everyone, or?
Yeah, I think we also need to talk about, since we have consensus on those three top level items, is how the other agenda items, support those.
Yes.
If we just keep that in our, in our view, in our vision.
Okay, so because so that was item number 7. 8 is I'll try to make it short because of time, but I wrote 8. It's more about how we work and how do we, let's say, use the time here. It's also related to the same I wrote it in one comment. I don't know if it was the best way to do it, but in the middle of the comment, I wrote a suggestion. What I wrote there was basically that there's a lot of ideas and a lot of initiatives and a lot of important things we can do. And we have very little time for, let's say, for this meeting. When we see already we are past the 35-minute mark, and we hit like basically one item. So I was struggling to think like, so we can always, first of all, do more meetings. I think it's one, we can always meet more. But what I was thinking is that we can focus our discussions on the things that are ready for discussion. Like I made it like a reference to the other working groups where there's a lot of discussions and progress happening on the issues themselves. And then once it turns into like, okay, we discussed everything we discussed, we have all the information, now we just need to come to a decision or to have a discussion about it, then it turns on into like an item that is going into the agenda. So what I was thinking is that we can follow like a similar path. Like there's a lot of ideas, and maybe like a prerequisite to bring an idea, to bring a subject into the meeting is, first of all, there's a GitHub issue and people discussed this issue for a while, and there's a champion. So basically someone that works on making it happen, and that champion wants to talk about what's something, you know, for whatever reason, the champion needs to talk about to the group about what's happening. Like they're blocked on progress on that. Benji, go ahead.
Yeah, I think you just essentially said what I was going to say, but there's effectively 2 reasons that these things get brought to the main working groups for real-time discussion like this. And one is because the group itself has become blocked. Maybe they can't decide between 2 different options. Maybe they don't have the information they need, and they need to reach out to the broader group to get that information. And the other reason is just to give a status update, just to say, hey, we have made progress. We are doing this thing, or we're planning to do this thing. And we want to make you all aware of this because we know that there's been a lot of discussions in the GitHub issue and not everyone can keep up with them. So here is our once monthly update that gives you a 5-minute summary of where we are. Both of those are valuable, I think.
I love it. I mean, the reason I added it here is because there's a lot of stuff to do, and I think there's some, like, my inclination is it's related to the second point, is that the people that are already doing, let's give them the support and unblock them, because let's first give the ongoing the stuff that are happening. Let's support first of all the stuff that are happening and make sure that they get the support they need and they're not unblocked. And then we can talk about like how to power things that are not progressing. But sometimes I feel like at least like this is not a company. Nobody gets paid. We are not paying for anyone here to come here. So it means that like sometimes when stuff are not happening is because nobody is actually doing anything. And that means that we don't need to discuss it. You know, until someone cares enough, and then they just do it. So it's we still should discuss those things, but like if no one is taking responsibility or championing something, we might talk for hours on like how amazing it would be, but then nobody would actually do anything. So that was my rationale around it. Anyone? So that was my whole point. So we can if it makes sense for everyone, we can move on. But if move it on the next items.
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay, awesome, great. So then the last one, and that's the last one for me. Sorry, that's for taking the first three. Is one project that I think is something that I personally very care about, and we've been wanting this for many years, and it didn't happen. Was basically a redesign of the website, and I think the main reason that it didn't happen, there's many reasons why it didn't happen, but I think right now we can have the chance of actually doing it. And the main blocker, I think, till now was defining what we want the main page to say, which is a big question because it touches basically on everything we just discussed. The thing is, I think I tried to like lay down, to take a lot of the stuff that we all were thinking about and stuff throughout the years and to put it in a couple of sections, which I put on the issue here, on issue 21. And a lot of you already commented with great comments, which I agree with everything that was written actually. So my goal here is for us to basically get a message that is better than what we have today. It shouldn't be perfect because it can always change. And then I would say the guild is ready to like put, I think, something we asked for, like the guild maintains the website. We maintain the infrastructure, and we always say to everyone, we improve the infrastructure so now everyone can contribute and it's easy to change the website, but that didn't happen. So what we are ready to do now is basically to also put design resources, to basically hire a designer, give them just this issue that we all are like reading through and the content, and get them to give us a design. And once we have a design, we can go ahead and implement it. Like we're happy to invest the time and the resources to do it. So yeah, so it's an opportunity. It's something that I think is very much needed. Like the website is, like the infrastructure is great, but the website itself didn't change so much throughout the years, like small updates here and there. So I'm looking at it as like an opportunity for like something that we can do and we can have the resources to do and get everyone into some kind of a consensus. Again, it doesn't need to be perfect. Like it's like, you know, the better than today in terms of messaging, and then we can improve. So yeah, and then we can iterate on it. Yeah, Doc, go ahead.
So there were a couple of people that contributed to the website in its former instantiation. Mina, you're still here? Mina and I submitted some PRs back during GraphQL Conf 1. Or what should I call it? GraphQL Conf 2023. So I love the idea of updating the website. I just would like to think that it would, remain as flexible as it is now with the infrastructure, because I actually think that that instead of being a starting point, the website is more of a result. So if the kind of feedback that if we go out to the community with surveys, with building up local groups and that sort of thing, we'll get a lot more information and a lot more feedback on what's missing or what the community really needs the website to do. And so I don't know how this is kind of what I was trying to get at, Yuri, when I was talking about building the website out in stages, is it gives us that flexibility to respond to feedback and new information that we get when we go out and reach out to the community. And some of that might be like feedback that we get at the conference itself, or just how the website itself is performing. If we look at the website metrics, and there's sections that are super popular and other sites that are ignored. And my final point is, so what the Guild did for the conference site in 2023 was beautiful and amazing. When I looked at the conference site, like listing of talks and stuff, and that used the Linux Foundation tool in 2024, was not a good impression. So I'm hoping that you guys will come through again for 2025 and do the amazing conference site on the website the way you did it before, because I think that like was a good reflection of the conference and the effort, and more attractive to people who were looking at what we were doing. Just an observation.
Yeah, I'll try. So I agree with you that like going out to the community for a survey and like getting more information for the from the community is extremely valuable and would improve the website. I also would say that a lot of us here are interacting with the community day to day and have built some kind of sense of what's missing. And I would say it's not instead. So how I would see it is like we should do those things in parallel, meaning like everyone here that is currently involved in the group have some sense of what they feel they're missing. So what I've done.
Wait, Yuri. I'm not suggesting that you don't do things. I'm just asking for the flexibility.
Yes.
So
yes.
two specific,
That's what I'm saying.
specific things I'm asking for is the flexibility to, you know, change or add to or subtract from the website, along with.
Yes.
I'm not saying instead of. No, please don't misunderstand.
So that's exactly what I'm saying. So we are fully in agreement. So
yeah.
What I'm saying is like we now have an issue where we can everyone here and everyone else that can join the discussion can comment. We'll get some kind of messaging to go. That in parallel, we will do surveys and we will add information together on the website, what works and what's not. And like everything we will do here, it's an ongoing process. So we will start pushing for, let's say, a new design based on the messages that we all here agree upon, and that will keep changing. So we'll continuously change, and this is why I'm like saying also, let's unblock for the things that we can do, while also keep improving. Yeah, so 100% I'm with you. Whatever that will go out, let's call it the new design, it's just a point in time where it's a certain improvement that we know we want to do right now. The day after we can change it, right? Like, so there's nothing that prevents us from changing anything. So 100% agree with you. And we should do surveys and we should gather data, which there's an open issue on as much data as we can on growth, on usage, on, you know, whatever ideas you have on what to gather.
If we could automate, if there was some way that we could automate and publish, you know, maybe to, you know, GitHub, the metrics from the website, that would be super helpful.
There's an open issue about it. So first, we'll do the discussion there. But yeah, there's an open issue about it, and it's, I agree, extremely important. I just wanted to add about what you said about the conference websites. We also did the both 23 and 24 were on the website and were designed and implemented by us. Like
but the talks were from the Linux Foundation tool, which is not a great, you know, user interface.
Yeah, so there's a whole thing. There's a whole thing where the Linux Foundation is somehow sending links sometimes in emails to their tool. Ooh. But all the talks are available on the website itself, the way you said you liked it before. So there's still.
Yeah, I did like it.
Yeah, like I'll link it.
Very nice.
I'll link it here. Okay, so in terms of time, does everyone ever agree with basically the ask is like review the issue number 21 and give all your feedback that you can on, let's call it, the new landing page of GraphQL.org, like the messaging that we want to get on GraphQL.org.
Can I make the suggestion to wait or hold a bit on actually hiring a designer for this and first make a few prototypes or iterations? Because I feel like having just a rough draft content-wise is very helpful in evaluating how this website will work on people that are maybe not experienced with GraphQL, people that just want to get the news about GraphQL and so on. And maybe from that on, we can really try to apply it to the personas that Jeff mentioned earlier and see if there's actually a match between these two. And I think that should be the important step before, like after we agree in this group and in this issue on a certain timeline and on a certain content strategy, evaluate that using this strategy.
Right, yeah. So what you're saying is like
Content first, design second.
yes, for
Is
sure.
is that a good representation?
Yeah. So
that what-
currently the issue is only about content. So, but what would we need in order to, in your opinion, to get let's call it a first version of the content of the landing page?
So I think the schedule, or not the schedule, the outline we have there is already a good first draft. But we should work on trying to define which building blocks actually are on the website, what they contain, maybe even in wording, in rough wording, and then see, like in terms of balance, on if you have it in a document, how that feels, if the focus is right, and if it actually attracts the right people we want to attract with this website.
Okay. So
Is that something you'd be willing to work on? Is building that, go out to the website and collect all that information? And do you need some help?
you ask me?
Or
Eric.
okay.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely I can help with that. But I think many people here are interested, so I think we could all collaborate on something like that.
I think it's more a question who's gonna do it. And I
guild.
personally, I'm not an expert like in creating those prototypes, so I cannot jump in here. It's more like, okay, who of us can create those first prototypes?
So I think by starting this, I basically volunteered for it, so I don't mind. This is really important to me personally. Like it's something I want to do for 2 years now or 3 years. So I don't mind leading it. I mean, also the way I listed this, the current draft that I put there was by like talking to a lot of people and a lot of different personas and thinking about like this a lot. So.
Are you open to working with other people from the committee, Uri?
100%. Yes, this is why I posted it there. Like any feedback or any help, like please, that's why I posted it there.
So you guys will be the first status report to this larger meeting then. You guys whoever's working on that.
Sorry. What is it?
So you're the group of people who collaborate on this would be like the first team to sort of report status back up to the larger meeting.
Yes, sounds good. Yeah. So anyone who wants to join the team, let me know, and let's go. Yeah. Cool.
So who's gonna join Uri as a champion?
Eric.
Yeah, I can help join, but my time next month is limited. But after that, I'm all in, and can help you.
There you go.
Thank you. Anyone else? You can join us like in any capacity you want. Like all good. Like even just review the issue and give comments. Like or just a thumbs up. It's also good. Like or a thumbs down. Also fine. Like
I'm getting super concerned about the clock, Uri. I don't think we're going to.
So
my agenda item, and it's going to make me very sad. Because I really wanted to bring it up.
Items. I'm very sorry it took so long. Let's go to the next items.
Martin is up.
I think I'm next. Yeah, it's it's a meta item really, which I think Doc is going to join your item just below. I'm very hyped about GraphQL Conf happening in Europe this year. It's going to be the first time I can attend, and I'm pretty hyped by it. I would love to help, but I'm not really sure how. And I loved Doc's comment earlier that, volunteers, they are more likely to help if you give them a good direction and some place to start. So this was a point about specifically what can we use volunteer for GraphQL Conf, but in general, like having a list of items, not only for GraphQL Conf, but for the GraphQL community in general, like stuff where we need help. Maybe designing a T-shirt, maybe something else, would be really good to help onboard people. And Doc, I see you have your hand raised.
Yeah, can somebody invite Martin to the conference committee so he can find out what's happening there and figure out where he can contribute?
And
Yep.
that can definitely
Those wheels are in
fix
motion.
my personal use case, but if we want more people, like that doesn't really scale, or maybe it does, I don't know, like it's a question actually. Can we have 50 people in the conference committee, or should we have a limited number and then give out specific tasks to other community members?
Yeah, I think the best way to get information on what the committee is up to. I mean, it doesn't obligate you, but just go to their meetings and find out what they're talking about.
Yep.
And then you can volunteer to create a T-shirt or whatever.
Yeah, I suck at design, but I know some people are really good at that, and it's a good opportunity for them to get involved and also showcase their skills. So if you know someone,
one quick personal statement. I'm super excited about GraphQL 25 being in the EU as well, because this summer I'm moving to France.
Yay, where are you going?
Toulon.
Toulon, oh, cool. Sunshine and the sea. That's nice.
Yes, I love the water.
Nice.
I'm bringing my kayak.
Nice.
Yes, I'm coming to the
Very cool.
I'm moving, relocating, and it's going to happen this summer. I'm super excited about it. And yeah, that's I'm going to be at GraphQL Conf for sure.
Nice.
Okay, I have 1.5 minutes to talk about. Okay, so let me just say, do a dialogue real quick, or monologue, I should say. So one of the things that, because not everybody will engage with a community, but just one of a live stream will do a couple of things for us. One, it automatically becomes a recording as soon as we hang up. Two, it gives us a reliable, as far as the community is concerned, a reliable vehicle that we're communicating with the community once a month. We could also hold special events to do Q&A, to bring in the community. But there would be no burden on anyone to take these recordings and transfer them around and post them, because as soon as the live stream is over, it's automatically a recording. The other thing is that most of the work that we do where there might be some concern about it being public is going to be done in these smaller teams. Just the status of those teams will be reported in the monthly meetings. But I think, I mean, I personally have engaged with communities, and this is also speaks to the comment earlier about lowering the barrier. So if I just want to see what a community is up to, then I can go to their live stream. It gives me the opportunity to be able to ask questions without committing or, attending the Zoom meeting. It gives us the ability to send out socials periodically. We're having this meeting, you're welcome to come attend the live stream on YouTube. It gives us automatic built-in communication with the community. So I am really a fan of this kind of communication. It's how I initially engaged with the gRPC community through their live streams and on YouTube, in fact. I just really believe in this approach. Also, I would say this, we could look at it as a pilot and try it for a while and do a couple of experiments, see what kind of feedback and reaction we're getting. And if it doesn't work, then we stop. So we don't lose anything.
I think that's a great idea, Doc, just to get more interaction with the community. I think we can open a thread, discuss about what exactly we are envisioning. Is it a YouTube live stream? Is it a Twitch live stream? We can also make use of Discord stage platforms, which would make it easy to quickly invite people over to actually chat instead of writing text all the time. And which would
Don't
also
like the Discord idea because it requires you to join Discord. And so if you're just coming by to see what's happening, I think the requiring a Discord account is a barrier.
Right. We could also do both. Let's. I think this is something. Let's just talk about what we envision and get an agreement in a thread on an issue.
Yeah, Eric, just to share a little bit of context with you, which I should have done when I was speaking earlier. GraphQL already has a YouTube account. And so that's why I targeted YouTube as opposed to Twitch or some other environment. Also, people who are non-technical are going to be more likely to engage with YouTube as opposed to Twitch or Discord. Oh, Benji, bye.
Benji's had another meeting he has to go to. I think I'm missing a bit of the puzzle. A lot of the video stuff that we have is already all automated. So the video is already being recorded and it's already being uploaded quite quickly to YouTube anyway. The view counts on there aren't great. Like our monthly videos have maybe 30 or 40 views. So I think I'm missing a bit of your proposal, why we should do this, because it's quite easy for someone to join, but if they're only viewing through YouTube, they can't interact or interject or make comments without one of us keeping an eye on the YouTube channel to see any comments coming through. But also when I, as a live stream viewer, if I see that only 2 or 3 other people are viewing it as well, then it kind of feels like, well, why are they even doing this? What's the point?
So it's not going to be gangbusters out the door. Jen, you're actually absolutely right about that. But I have watched a community grow exactly this way, and it was Async API. You're right that engaging through chat is how it normally happens. And I mean, we have several people here. I mean, I wouldn't want to leave the live stream in just one person's hands anyway because of the buzz factor. But yeah, I don't see engaging with chat as being an obstacle. And again, it's because I've seen this happen in so many instances. When Modular launched their machine language and AI programming language, this is exactly how they grew their community, was through live streams. And there's a couple of things that help as far as like a person who might attend. One is the reliability of it. So I know that this is going to go live, and it's not just me consuming the video, which is the case with posted recordings, and some people, that works for them, but it's me actually being able to engage with the people who are present and also be able to ask and get answers for questions. And again, it's, because we start something like a live stream doesn't mean that we're committed to it forever, as is the case with all of these initiatives. And the only initiatives that we're going to accomplish are we are a volunteer organization, so somebody's got to want to do the work. And if the initiatives that don't get done are the initiatives where we don't have somebody who wants to do the work. Sorry, Eric, go ahead. Please comment.
No worries. I think it's really about what you're used to and what you're comfortable with interacting, the discussion Discord versus YouTube, because on YouTube you need an account as well. And I wouldn't say more people in the tech scene have a YouTube account than a Discord account. I think that goes hand in hand for many people that actually engage in tech communities, from my experience. There's just, I'm not sure if you're aware, but in Discord, there's a dedicated feature to stage audiences. So there's a certain set of speakers which are invited to each event every time, and everyone else can join the channel as a non-hosting member, non-participating member. But if you want to do a Q&A round, if you want to raise a question in the round, you can always raise your hand and wait until one of the hosts picks you up and puts you into the main group and puts you into the spotlight. And that makes it really easy to interact because people are there already. We do not need to wait for them to join a Zoom call. And also you get rid of this delay barrier you have on YouTube and other live streaming platforms. Say, for example, someone posts something in a chat, you need to wait for clarification, and that has a delay. On Discord, it's instantaneous because there's no stream delay. And I feel like having people closer to the actual meeting group while not actually participating generates a better bond in a community than having them further away just in a chat window. And it might also motivate people to actually speak up and join as a full contributing member next time, as opposed to the step from YouTube towards a Zoom call is much larger than just to add yourself on the agenda and press a different button on Discord next time.
Yeah, so one of the things that's important in what you said is the tech community. So the personas that we're trying to attract are not just engineers. They're also product managers who are not on Discord. So there's a lot of people who are, engaged in GraphQL, who are outside the, the open source contributor, maintainer, engineer population. So whether it's like, it could be a VP of engineering, a VP of marketing in a startup, or, it could be on the user side, somebody who's thinking of adopting GraphQL and, they're in product and they're in healthcare, they're not in technology. And so Discord would be a very unfamiliar environment for them, but everyone is familiar with YouTube. And so the other point is I know we have an account on Discord and we have, a community there, but we also have access to YouTube. I think Jim, is Benji managing that, or is the Linux Foundation still somewhat administrating our YouTube account?
YouTube account. I think there are several administrators. Benji, who's managing our YouTube account, the GraphQL YouTube account? Is it just you?
It's a few people have access.
Yeah, it's a fair. I think it's a shared responsibility. But with the working group ones, there's kind of, you just push a button and it's all automated, so it's not a huge burden. Yeah, that's what I said. It's all automated. Yeah.
Yeah, so one last point. I wouldn't want to spend money on this initially, but if it is successful, there are tools that we can use that will allow us to simulcast a live stream to multiple platforms, including LinkedIn. I'm not sure about Discord, whether it would simulcast there. But those are paid services. They're not terribly expensive, but again, given that this would be sort of a pilot, a trial kind of idea. Oh, thanks, Eric. Thanks for all your input and your help. And bye. So, then we might, if everybody's happy with the way things going, then we might consider, a monthly subscription to one of the platforms that, simulcast the live stream out to multiple platforms. So I think we'll just move this discussion now to the issues.
Yeah, I can't find your issue about it at the moment, but when I looked at it earlier, were you saying to live stream each of our monthly meetings, or were you saying more pick one and make it like a more of an open discussion? For example, at the conference, they have the open board meeting, right? So it's a board meeting that's carefully planned and is a bit more of a presenter style maybe than the more monthly meetings, but then you do actually get the engagement and the excitement around it. Whereas maybe a more standard monthly meeting, I'm not sure that I see the appeal. Like, I don't know if you want it to be a bit more
believe it or not, part of the appeal is you get to know the people who are involved in the working group. So as a consumer of the content, as I watch these, first of all, I feel like I have permission to find out what's going on with the community. It serves Uri's top 3 sort of objectives, which is building a more transparent community. But you also, as a consumer of the content, you get to know the people who are moving things forward. And you know, it just it builds trust. And it also makes it easier to engage with those people if you want to reach out and get to know them, or ask a question, or seek some kind of assistance. Here are people that I've gotten to know because I've watched them, you know, on video, and I've seen how they interact, and so I'm comfortable as somebody who's trying to get into GraphQL or has something to say about GraphQL. Here's somebody that I feel like I kind of know that I can reach out to. So it's actually building trust.
So are you talking kind of like almost a parasocial relationship there?
No, I mean, so all I'm saying is that I'm just saying these are the results of communities live streaming. And so because we are, as Uri discussed earlier, this meeting becomes like smaller meetings reporting status or blockers. So we're already limiting the discussion just by the nature of the meeting. So if it's like, you know, if we're getting into details, all of that discussion is going on either in smaller team meetings or on the issues list itself. And so we're not, you know, exposing as much information about the inner workings of the conference committee. I guess I would. So given that I'm sort of proposing this as, you know, I've seen the success that other communities have with it. Let's give it a shot. I would want to like better understand, you know, if any objections that you might have to running a pilot or giving it a shot.
Sorry, I've also got Benji talking in the background.
I just say I love your hair. I'm a big fan of hair color, and yours is fantastic. I love the purple.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. My main reservation was just being surprised with being told, well, this one's going to be live streamed today, and like maybe only told a couple of hours ago, and I was just a bit surprised.
Oh no, yeah, no, we won't do it without. No, we would never bring it on
but with a bit of notice. And yeah, okay, so I understand about how you think the meeting will become more succinct. I think that's a good idea, with it being more of a reporting mechanism than like a deep discussion mechanism. Actually, I look forward to more sort of asynchronous discussions anyway. So it's sounded like an interesting idea. Just I personally don't see the appeal, but I'm maybe not the right audience. So,
well, I mean, yeah. So I will start to your point that it doesn't have its own issue. I will start one of those, and we can continue the discussion there. Also, just because I have you here, I'm happy to help with and contribute to whatever you're doing with the ambassador program. Just let me know like when you want to get together and chat, or how I can help.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't add it to the agenda today because the proposal I've been working on isn't ready yet. So, but yeah, it'll be good to talk over some ideas over the GitHub issues. Yeah.
Yeah, or we could have a chat if you like. If you, I mean, I just like, I mean, I can, if you need some help with finishing off the proposal, I'm happy to do that. Or if you want some feedback on where you, what you've got so far, pleased to do that. Like, however I can help you, just let me know.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah.
All right, Yuri, it's all yours.
Thanks everyone. I'm really happy with the meeting. I'm really happy we had more people joining. I'm really happy with all the ongoing discussions on GitHub. And yeah, everything seems really exciting. Thank you, and sorry for taking too much time at the beginning. And yeah, we'll get better as we go. Thank you so much for joining
everyone.
and participating and contributing, everyone. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.